favorite Marvel Comics hero. Mine is Superman. Remember the motto? With great power comes great responsibility.
Hello everyone, John and Carla here. We are the creative team behind the Green Reaper. Hello folks, welcome to your new favorite YouTube channel, White Hat Comics. This is John and Carl again. And as always, we like to start with
everybody,
not with that, but and as always, we like to, all right, yeah. There you go. Now we are live. All right. So we have a very special guest today. All right. We like to welcome Phil from the creative team of the ZAID brothers, who gave us Magic Cup.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
No, absolutely. Welcome to the channel. I want to start by say hello to Apollo Patria, who's always here, always liking his blue women and always liking his Greek mythology, and also Edwin Acevedo, Hail Brother, and Imega Arts. So hi to you all, and thank you for tuning in. How are you doing today, Phil?
Great. I had a pretty good day. You know, we've been nonstop working on the new project, as well as, you know, still shipping stuff out. Now that we're getting new orders in from people seeing the book, you know, actually in other fans' hands, you know, we're getting more orders. So, you know, I always would tell some people that the in-demand after you start shipping, because people see that the book is out there and they back it after the fact. So, yeah, I'm doing great. Glad to be here. A little nervous. You know, getting interrogated.
Oh no, you're good, man. You're good. We usually have fun, but we also like to showcase these wonderful projects here that the Comicsgate community is putting out. We've heard so many great things about Magic Cup, and everybody's really praising you guys. Not only because you definitely fulfill fast and you did what you were supposed to do, but also because they really enjoyed the artwork and they really enjoyed the story. Now, this is a team effort here, right, between you and your brother, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. Who does what? Who does the writing and who does the illustrations?
Yeah, so I'm the writer. I do all the writing. I also letter the book as well. And my brother does the interior art, the interior covers, you know, the pencils and inks, and we have a colorist as well that we're working with. So he's like the art guy. He created the logo as well. So everything that is visually put in there, besides the letters, is him doing that.
Absolutely. Now, maybe you can speak for your brother here, but art-wise, this is a very attractive comic. Especially, it's very visually stunning. It has a lot of different influences that I can tell, but it looks very 80s. Yeah. Would that be an accurate statement there? And if so, where did you guys get this idea from? You know, like building up this world aesthetically speaking.
Yeah, sure. It's totally 80s. You know, we say in basically the statement description of the book, it's Miami Vice meets Halloween Town, and we really needed to get the right colorist for that, and I think we did. He just blew it out of the water with the 80s vibe. As for coming up with the concept, the idea for the comic, it was originally going to be a arcade game. My brother and I work in the arcade industry on, you know, a production team creating arcade games, and the title just popped into my brother's head, Magic Cop, and we're like, oh, what could we do with that? And we decided to start, you know, pre-production on working on an arcade game, which would be like a side-scrolling beat 'em up, like if you ever played Bad Dudes or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the arcade, stuff like that. And I was writing these characters, coming up with them, and the world just built so much, became so big that we're like, oh, we need to do something more with this so we could actually tell this story, we fell in love with the characters and decided to turn it into a comic, which, years ago, my brother and I did some self-published, really small indie comics here in Chicago. And I was looking to get back into it because I had been writing scripts for characters that are going to be in my next book. And we're like, Magic Cop would be perfect. The 80s is coming back. And if it ever does turn into a video game in the future, then this would be an awesome companion piece for it so people could know about the characters.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, like I said, the art looks wonderful and the concept is really great. Where did you guys come up? Where does this come from? Where does the Magic Cop come from, as being that you are the writer?
Yeah, so specifically in the story, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so this Magic Cop, there's multiple Magic Cops in this world. Magic Cop is basically a ranking. So to be a Magic Cop, you have to be part of a Magic Cop family. So Iggy is our Magic Cop in this story, and his wand was passed down generation to generation to him, and he was destined to take up the family job as a Magic Cop. So in future books, we may see other different Magic Cops, but this is his first case on the job. He gets promoted directly to detective, and he's working with a brand new team that they don't know, like if he's up to the task. So he kind of has to prove himself because he comes from this, rich family, and he's predetermined to be this magical, detective wizard. And he has to deal with that and the pushback of people being like, oh, he's just this stuck-up kid that got this free ride to being a Magic Cop. So they're in this book. It's a 4-chapter book. It's 92 pages of story, and they are on the mission to find out who killed this mermaid prostitute.
Right. I love it. I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, and just look at this page. This is my favorite page. I already told Phil about this page. Look at the effect, or like when you're watching a VHS.
Yeah, VHS.
Isn't that brilliant?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And here, like they are partying. This is great. They are partying in the boat, and then you have all the mermaids there behind, like hidden from this, like I don't know, like elite, or I don't know, or just normal people. But I don't know, this effect, like it's brilliant. Like I think that this aesthetically is very well thought, like it's very well done. Like the concept is very strong. So I really like that about Magic Cop.
Yeah, I definitely compare it to like do you guys over there in Chicago have In-N-Out, like the hamburger restaurant thing? Like paintings that they have inside is always so 80s.
Yeah.
It looks a lot like that, and I definitely like that style.
We always think of Magic Cop when we go to
In-N-Out. That looks like Magic Cop.
Yeah.
That being said, what do you think is about the 80s that bring that nostalgia in people? Are you from the 80s? You look very young, but what is it about the 80s that brings so much nostalgia to people, and why the 80s for Magic Cop?
I think I was born in 1993, so I didn't live through it, but my parents did, and they were huge. They lived through it. All their pop culture is from that time and a little bit before. So my dad's favorite show is Miami Vice. And I think the 80s rubbed off on us so much and is kind of cemented and coming back now into pop culture. It's because it was such a creative time. There was, between the media and the movies, the television shows, the music, it's so iconic and it never goes away. You have music that comes out now where you don't hear it anymore on the stations. So I think, it was a perfect time with, Stranger Things coming out. That was a big part of the 80s resurgence. And my brother had been, telling me that, dude, this is going to come back, and we could already see it coming back. We got to put on Magic Cop, because when we were working on designing the game, that was in 2017. So we already had these characters for a while, and nothing was moving forward with that. And my brother Brandon, he's like, we got to put something out with this, because if we wait too long, it might, go into the 90s.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, no, definitely. I love me some 80s artwork too. I love me some 80s movies. And so one thing about the 80s is that you have this kind of prototype, this stoic male hero, right? that you don't get anymore in movies, right? Nowadays, you know, there's obviously an agenda to kind of get rid of manly men, right? In entertainment. So is our protagonist from Magic Cup a manly guy? Is he like the stoic 80s stereotypical hero, or would we see a little bit of a millennial in him?
No, I don't think there's any millennial. You know, he sticks up for himself. He fights back, and especially with him, there's a learning process. Kind of a loose hero's journey throughout the story where he has to learn about himself and about his power, and that there's consequences to, you know, slacking off or not taking things seriously. And you know, the supporting cast as well has story arcs that will continue through the series. Like this character Grey Wolf, he's our Wolfman detective who's on the verge of retirement. He's like the veteran that kind of takes Magic Cop Iggy under his wing and tries to, you know, make him be a better detective. For sure.
Yeah, so we see the hero's journey. We have the mentor. We have a lot of that 80s influence, without a doubt. Now, are you guys planning on ever doing the actual arcade game, or is this gonna stay a comic book?
So we would love to do that. Like if we had a team and, you know, the funds to make a side scroller arcade game for Magic Cop, I think it would still fit perfectly. And you know, I would never say never, because I think that would be great for our company to have that out there, so you could, you know, read about the characters, play the game. We have our trailer, there's a song, and all the backers get the song as well. It has a Magic Cop theme song, so we hit that stretch goal, so everybody gets the song. So yeah, Magic Cop's, it's going to be around, and we're going to do the second book soon. I just started writing the second one as well. So
beautiful. Now let me ask you something. All right. Did you ever think that this was going to blow up so much that it was going to become such a success, or are you kind of surprised about the reception of your book to the comic-skate community?
So I tried to plan it on a way where, you know, like going in early to streams like last year, talking about it in super chats and streams and stuff like that to get the word out there. But actually seeing people like Tinfoil Hat Nick going on Twitter and being like, this book was so much fun, you know, it's one of my favorites, you know, and when hearing people say that, and even, you know, my buddies like Passion for Drawing being like, this is one of, you know, my favorite books that's come out in CG, is awesome, because as a writer, you don't have anything to show for your work until your comic's out there. And that's why it's really difficult for writers to even, you know, start creating a comic with an artist, because if the artist wants to see your work, you don't have anything yet because you need an artist. So I was very worried about the reception of my writing, because no one has read my stuff. You know, they might like me as a person, the way I talk about comics and stuff, but no one's read my storytelling. And to see people digging it, that's amazing. You know, and I'm really blessed with that. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, this is a great community, without a doubt. I want to take a brief moment to say hello to the chat. Say hello to Tatsunami. Thank you for joining us. Hello to my brother Sim. Thank you for joining us as well. And then I just heard that Redgaze was feeling a little under the weather. So
elbow cuff.
Yeah, elbow cuff. And make sure you're not spreading the cooties around. I'm just playing, brother. I know. Hopefully you get better. Feel better soon. We need you. And yeah, so hello to the chat. Like I told you, it's a very active chat. They like to ask questions. They like to interact with the guests and with ourselves.
Yes, please do, guys. If you have questions, you can drop them in the chat to collaborate with this interrogation session here with our friend.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so so let's start learning more about you. How's it like working as a team with your brother? Is there ever any kind of maybe artistic or creative differences between the two of you?
So sometimes there is, but I think we trust each other enough to be like, when we give each other like, hey man, this line needs to be, this way because it's looking funky to me. And he'll be like, oh, okay. And then he'll go in there and change that, or be like, there's just that total collaboration effort. I think it kind of is better because I don't hold back my punches. I could be a little bit more blunt with him because, he's my brother and I know the way he thinks. Yeah, so we're not afraid of telling each other stuff like that. Sometimes he could be a little hard-headed and be like, I don't want to do that. But I'm sure I could be the same way,
Absolutely. And who is the boss in that whole interaction? Is it whoever's the oldest or just the writer?
I don't know. I feel like it switches off sometimes depending on what the situation is.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear you. Who would you say is the boss here? Oh, you are, right?
Of course I am.
Definitely. No, yeah, you guys are doing an amazing job, and I cannot wait to see more from you, without a doubt. What are you guys working on now?
So right now we have a pre-launch page up for our next project, which is totally different from Magic Hop. Magic Hop, I know, was kind of a hard sell for people because it's not really what superhero fans are used to. It's very, crime fantasy. It actually reads like a television show. And but this one is total comics, like it's for the comics medium, and has narration from in people's heads and stuff like that. It's called The Lost Pages, and it's basically our first book in our connected universe of heroes. So think of like your big Marvel, DC. There's a bunch of heroes in there, and this is a linear story that will tell different tales of these heroes that cross different genres. So if you guys are into noir vigilantes, we got that. If you love 90s ultra violent comics, we got that. We have those old pulp characters like the Shadow or the Green Hornet. We got everything in there. So if you guys are a fan of the comics, you're going to want to check out The Lost Pages. We are working with so many awesome artists, and I can't wait to show you guys what we have going on.
I can't wait either to see it. I can't wait either. But let's hold on until we get more people joining the chat without a doubt, and showcase all that, because I definitely want to see it. But like I said, we want to get to know you better. So we're gonna start easy with the questions, and then get a little more intense. Okay, so how do you keep your hair so perfect all the time?
Well, now that it's longer, like I used to have it shorter, but I'm kind of like doing this cut on the sides thing and growing it out. I use gel, like whether it be a pomade or a gel substitute. And I kind of ran out of my pomade and haven't been wanting to go to the store, so I got this gel that I'm using. Thank you, though. I appreciate that you guys noticed.
Have you ever received inappropriate DMs from ladies?
Ooh.
I have not. But there was a situation with my brother, and he had gotten a message from a CG lady.
Ooh. We like that.
But I don't know if I could disclose who that was.
Nah, I think
the question is, was she hot?
I mean, that's subjective,
Sure.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
All right, now you are the self-proclaimed best-looking brothers in Comicsgate. Are you each other wingmen?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine we could be. My brother has a girlfriend, and I feel like we haven't situation because I don't think we've been single at the same time. But yeah, I mean, we definitely could be. Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, we're each other's wingman.
All right, yeah, totally, man, totally. I wish I could have the same relationship with my brother, but I am so much older than him that we never kind of got to do that. But you guys are very close in age, are you not?
Well, he's 5 years older than me.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. No, but you know, we've always been around each other, and you know, we've always like it's weird. It seems like I always feel like you know how they say twins could always know what the other person is thinking.
Right.
But I think that it's not like a genetic thing where you have to be twins, but I think it's just the more you spend around that person, when you're in a situation or you hear something, it recalls back to a memory that, you know, explodes in your mind, and then you think the same thing as them because you were in that moment together. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
Absolutely. Other than sports cars, what is one of your biggest passions?
I love, other than sports cars, I mean, I like motorcycles too, but I also like singing. I really like singing. I used to be in a band. And I used to sing in a band. So all the guys in comics would always give me crap because I like going karaoke. So I'll go and really relive my band days and sing karaoke at the bar. Because chicks like karaoke. Okay, that's why.
I love karaoke.
Yeah.
Can you sing for us, Phil?
Yeah.
Can I sing for you guys?
Yeah, sure.
No, I could rap for you guys.
Sure, even better. Come on.
You guys. Okay, this is a little song by Ice, Vanilla Ice.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Ice is back with my brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Okay, that's enough.
All right.
Only for you guys.
So now that you were in a band, what kind of music did you guys play?
We played you know, rock music. It was a rock cover band. Actually, for my high school like talent show or whatever, we played 2 songs. They were like rock songs, and then I was friends with the guy doing lights, and so he shut the lights down. And then when they came back up, we actually did Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice, but like a rock version of it. It was really fun. But yeah, I love being on stage and either doing that, or I used to do a lot of I mean, not a lot, but I used to do some theater, do acting and stuff like that.
For sure.
You should do CG raps.
Yeah, for sure.
Gat does all the CG raps.
Absolutely. Would you ever, since you were a kid, would you ever the center of attention, or did you really crave it?
I feel like I was everybody's friend in school. And because I was, you know, people thought I was funny. But I didn't like act out and be like, I wasn't like the troublemaker that just wanted attention. I loved being on stage and performing and entertaining people. So that probably has something to do with it, you know?
Absolutely. Would you ever go back to singing maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do that. It's just very difficult to coordinate, you know, band practice schedules, stuff like that, and then all the egos you have to deal with in a band. Just doing comics and being a writer and juggling all of these artists and colorists is very similar to managing a band. Mm-hmm. So if I had time, I would love to do that, but I just don't have time right now, especially with all the comics we're doing.
Well, but the possibility is there. Now we have a question here from Apollo. Do you like the UFC?
Do I like the UFC? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I don't watch it.
That's crazy, but I got you.
Yeah.
But what's your favorite sport?
What's my favorite sport? I don't really watch sports. I mean, I used to watch hockey because Chicago's has a big hockey. You know, the Blackhawks it's really big here. But yeah, I don't really watch sports. All
right. Now, is say your guys' real last name, or is that like
so our last name is Diaz, so which is ZAID backwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why the company is called ZAID Comics.
Oh, so, I got you. And what is you guys' heritage? You guys Hispanic?
Yeah, yes, I'm half Mexican, and I don't speak any Spanish. and but I make really good guacamole.
That's good enough.
Okay,
that's good enough.
That compensates.
So who is the half Mexican in your family? Your mom or your dad?
Yeah, my dad's Mexican, my mom's Polish.
Oh, so you're safe. So they don't hit you with the sand.
You speak some Polish?
Yeah.
I mean, I can defend myself with some Polish. Yeah, we have many Polish friends in common from the Catholic community.
Yeah.
And they told me how to pretty much just curse. All of the curse and insult people.
Insult mothers, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know the thing about the Polish language is they always try to compare you with animals. You know what I mean? That's kind of like the biggest insult. Dirt worms. You know, like the jujovnica and things like that. That's usually it's a very interesting culture without a doubt. What are you guys closer to? The Polish side of your family or the Mexican side of your family?
I don't know. Probably neither. We have like a really small family. It's just like my parents, my brother, and there's like a lot of falling outs with family members and stuff. So it's just been us for so long that I have like aunts and uncles and stuff that I don't even know. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
which is fine. It happens.
Yeah, it happens. And families, you know, when families get too big at the end of the day, it's kind of messy, right?
Yeah.
Especially because families tend to fight a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. So what does now being told that there is a mermaid in your comic, I found it pertinent to ask you, what would you prefer? A mermaid from the waist up or from the waist down? So like a fish head or a bottom half is a fish.
And that's permanent? Like I can't flip flop?
No, it's forever.
All right. So this includes her head, right? She has a fish head?
She has a fish head or she has a bottom fish. You know what I mean? Like a fish bottom, whatever.
It would have to be the regular mermaid because I can't deal with a fish head, you know?
You can always cover it up.
Right. I mean, I like butts, but
and you can't.
I can't deal with a fish head.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right.
That's such a good question, baby.
I don't know. I came up with it on the spot. None of this is scripted, and we just kind of go off the rails.
Brilliant.
If you could be this is all magical themed, all right? If you could be a magical being, what would you be?
A magical being. Let's see. I think a minotaur would be cool. Like the
bull head?
Yeah, half man, half bull guy. I think that'd be cool.
Which one though? The bottom, the upper half, or
I actually think minotaurs are just like walking bulls. They're like humanoid bulls, right? So
the other ones are the centaurs. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I think. I have a character that is a minotaur that's in the Lost Pages. If we get far enough in the stretch goals, he's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Now you have in Magic Cup you have you said that there were it was a team of artists behind it, and many people did sketch cards for you and things like that. How did that come about? Did you guys approach the creative team, or they were just offering it up, or how did that work? So
a bunch of buddies of mine helped us out and gave us sketch cards, like you said, and those did really well. So myself, my brother sometimes, and a bunch of artists from CG, like Sim, Passion, Joe Ball, Sweens, we'll all work on our books together in a Google Hangout at 1 in the morning until 4 in the morning. So we're always talking, and we've become really good friends over the year. And I think it was Passion and Sim were talking about how we could help campaigns get more publicity and more sales and stuff. And they are like, well, let's do 3 sketch cards each for each other's campaigns. And they did that for me first, which I unconditionally thankful for, because they worked out great. And they just offered to help that way. And I saw that after we did that, that just started spreading to other campaigns, and it's been awesome that they're still doing that and they're still working. People are loving the sketch cards. I think sketch cards are great because they're inexpensive and they're traditional art and they're one of a kind. So those are amazing. We sold out of all of our sketch cards as well.
Oh, absolutely. And that being said, there seems to be a little controversy going on with whether CG is compiled of mostly collectors or if it's just people who want to read good content. What do you say CG leans more towards?
That's a question, because I'm not sure. You see stuff from the big campaigns coming out where they're very collectible things, like the ash cans and different sketch cards or prints and stuff like that. But from the reaction of our backers specifically, saying that they really enjoyed the book and the story, I think it's a mix. I don't think it's one or the other, and I would say it's probably both, and whatever you allowed your campaign to have on it, collectible things, plus everybody, has a story with their book. I just think right now the fans are so hungry for new content that it doesn't really matter whether it is a collectible thing or a story, because you could have both those things in one. And in fact, our runs are so small that the story itself is collectible.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I think that there's a mixture of both, and I've seen people who just want the book. Hell, people who just want the book digitally, right? And some people who want to have this stuff. And do you see a lot of value for your enterprise in the future, for everything that you guys are putting out?
Yeah, well, especially with Comicsgate, I mean, building this fan base. Without Comicsgate, we tried putting comics out like 8 years ago, and we were going to, Chicago Comic Con, and we sold maybe, 50 copies of the issue. Then I started going to school, and we didn't have. But Comicsgate has been such a fertile place for us to build a fan base. And you see guys like Drew, Mr. E, doing Captain Love, and the amount of support he's got for his second book in just like a day was insane compared to what the first book is. So if you're loyal to your customers and you are delivering on time and giving them a good product that, giving them the product that you are shilling out there, then they're going to reward you with backing you even more the second time. So I think this is the time that we're going to see, as the smaller guys in CG, how it goes. And we're seeing with Captain Love right now, where the fans are really rewarding him for such a great and timely product as the first book.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that there has been, without a doubt, significant growth for every creator that I know of, including ourselves, who have really passed our former selves.
Yeah.
That being said, now that we're talking about the past, if you could go back, what would you tell yourself? What would be an advice for yourself, knowing what you know
now? In any situation or involving with the comic?
Sorry, you lagged there a little bit. What was it?
Just with the comic or in my whole life?
In your whole life.
Oh my God. I don't know. If I could change one, go back and tell myself something. I probably would have put Magic Cop out sooner and been involved with Comicsgate sooner.
Right. What brought you guys to Comicsgate? How did you stumble upon it?
So I'm a huge comic fan, of course, and the thing that I'd seen Cyberfrog online, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. I really like frogs. I used to have a pet frog. Frogs, if when I was a kid, if you asked me my favorite animal, it would have been a frog. So I really liked the character, but I had never really backed anything on Indiegogo. I didn't know how it worked. I also saw Brutus the Badass. I'm a huge Lobo fan, and you know, that character is very you know, kind of like an homage to Lobo, and I thought Brutus the Badass was awesome. But I didn't back him because I've never done any crowdfunding before, so I was kind of like iffy about it. And then I seen probably one of Ethan's streams, or maybe looked into him more and saw that Cyberfrog was a thing. I had for months been seeing the hashtag Comicsgate and didn't know what it was. But just through looking into it and watching some of Ethan talking about it, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And there's kind of like a rally around these comics and these values that you hold as someone in CG. And I'm like, I dig this. So I told my brother about it, you know, and we started watching streams every day. And we were in the process of doing Magic Cop as you know, just starting doing pages for our pilot issue, just to get used to working together. And we saw that Ethan was coming to Chicago for a Star Wars celebration. We actually went to the meetup and we hung out with him and showed him some pages and stuff. And he was really cool. We went to a pizza joint afterwards with everybody, him and Anna, and a lot of the people from the Phantom Menace were there. And that was kind of like our welcoming into everything. And just there, we've been doing it ever since, you know, going strong.
Being welcomed in person, you can get better than that.
Yeah.
You guys got to meet the people behind it all.
I want to know, what was the name of your frog?
My frog? It was, wait for it, Frogman.
Very, very cool, man. Very cool. I couldn't have come up with that myself.
Yep.
You're up to it, man. That's so great. That's so great. So yeah, guys, listen. The Diaz brothers, or the ZAID brothers, however you guys want to go by, are working on really, really neat projects right now. Yeah. Would you mind showing us what you guys are working on? Because I saw a little teaser, if you will, on Twitter, and I wish I'd saved the image, but you definitely got me hyped up.
Yeah, sure. Let me. I got some awesome stuff to show. So this is kind of like all the characters that are in the book, kind of like on one page. This was a pinup done by one of my artists, Maxi Dallo, and this is gonna be. We're gonna use it as a cover for something. I think we're gonna use it as like the ash can cover that's gonna be with it. So these are our heroes in the Lost Pages, and this story is about a magical book called the Book of Lost Pages, and inside of the book are tales of these heroes lost to time. They exist in this world and, you know, fight injustice. They protect humanity from the evils of our world, and they will eventually come together to write the end of the world in this series. So each of the characters is, you know, goes through a different genre of comics. So let's see, we have the Silhouette, who this is one of the characters you were talking about. He's like our supernatural vigilante. He's basically just a shadow. And as you could see here, walking through the streets, you know, very reminiscent of Rorschach. And this story is him walking and kind of, you get the point of view of what he sees around him and how he hates the scum of the city, and gets to a point where, you know, you see him have to deal with some of that scum. But the Silhouette is a character, the first character Brandon and I ever created. It was actually the original comic from 8 years ago that we were working on, but he's back, and this is going to be a black and white story with red for the blood. And it's going to really solidify that genre of that kind of, you know,
Sin City type of thing.
Yeah, that vigilante, Sin City, Frank Miller-esque noir character who's pretty extreme.
It got me really hyped up. Obviously, the art speaks for itself, but also the dialogue. It really reminded me of Rorschach when he's walking through the streets and he's everything that he hates. That being said, you're a pretty young guy, and basically your generation is fucked right? There is so much things. There's so many things wrong with young people nowadays. Being though that you're obviously a part of that generation, not that you are like that, right? Obviously, you're a cool guy.
Hey, Phil, like I'm 1 year younger than you, so
Really?
Right.
More for me.
What do you hate the most about millennials? What do you hate the most about these entitled brats that we have to put up with nowadays?
Probably their, I mean, I would say their ability to just take something at face value and not look into it. If they hear something, they think it's, you know, that is a fact, and they have that hive mind, and especially them being so prone to mob mentality, where you say two people are saying something, they're just going to join in, and then it just turns into a dog pile of the hive mind, and if you have that wrong think, then you should be persecuted. So I would say, boils down to their ability to not think for themselves.
Absolutely. And as a writer, and obviously as an independent thinker that you are, did you ever feel, I mean, you always said that you were everybody's friend in school, right? But did you ever feel apart? Like, did you ever feel that you didn't belong?
Yeah. I mean, I guess not in school, because I mean, I had friends and stuff, but outside of school, I didn't really get invited to those parties because I didn't drink, and I still don't drink. So people knew that, and so they would just result with me not being invited places. And they had that stigma where, like, oh, Phil doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs. So that was kind of my area I was left out of. But I had my best friend I've known since preschool that we'd always hang out, and Brandon. So it was like the three of us would just hang out, go to the movies all the time. So
why don't you?
I never got into it. I don't know. I like I guess the fact of creating things with my own mind, I guess. I don't know. All my friends drink. We will go out to bars and stuff now, and it's hilarious watching drunk people. It's one of my favorite pastimes.
Have you ever tried fighting one?
No, I'm usually taking care of them. Like,
You're
having the chaperone. Yeah, having the chaperone.
Yeah, definitely. But everybody's got a vice. What's yours?
What's my vice? Oh,
John. Say it.
I don't know. Probably collecting very expensive statues.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not expect that at all.
Yeah.
You are a very fine gentleman.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
What kind of statues do you like?
I mean, statue. Well, I have like, they're like all comic statues. So like, I have this crazy, let's see here, like Swamp Thing up there.
Oh, wow.
It's huge.
It is huge.
Okay, this is interesting. Look at that.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Wow.
His hand, and there's my
logo.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's the most you've ever spent in them?
Like $800 something.
Wow.
See, guys, if you don't drink and you save your money, you can get
for those statues. Of course.
Be like Phil.
Besides the chronic masturbation, that's my own advice.
All right.
Aww.
It happens. Have you ever masturbated a statue though?
No, my brother has those statues. He buys all those like
what the hell?
You never know. I mean, it's
like if the statues were of sexy ladies, okay, maybe.
Yeah, my brother gets all like the sexy Catwoman statues, or Mai from King of Fighters.
Yeah.
But that's more understandable. Okay.
Right. Yes. Will there ever be a statue of our friend Magica?
Dude, since I'm such a big collector and fan of them, that would be amazing. Like a silhouette statue or a Magic Hop statue or any of the characters that we've had, that would be so sweet. Yeah, I would love that.
I have a feel like every writer always has, and it's, I guess it's just like parents, right? They always have their favorite child, but I think that writers also have their favorite character. Which one is your favorite character that you have created yourself? Don't worry, they won't get their feelings hurt.
Yeah, that's true. Man, it's got to be. So I go through phases, and like I've always been like this. So I'll go through a phase where like I'm obsessed with one thing, and then for like 6 months, I'll just be like Googling that thing nonstop and trying to learn everything about it. Like when I was really little, I became obsessed with Mr. T, and I really really liked Mr. T, and I had a Mr. T nameplate on my bike. It was really weird. So yeah, that's like video games or characters and stuff like that. But working on these books kind of lets me jump around more. So like when I'm writing something, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite character now because the story is so cool and this character is so awesome. But I could show you. Let's see, my favorite character right now is this character right here named Crimstone.
Oh, nice.
So we just posted this image today on Twitter, and Crimstone is that 90s character I was talking about. He's totally bombastic, toxic masculinity. He's over the top, ultra violent, but he is paired up with this girl who's a bodybuilder babe. Her name's Taz, and she is well this guy Krim, the big guy, is her imaginary friend from childhood. So when they were kids, he was like this little guy, right? This goofy guy that would, stick up for her, make her laugh as a coping mechanism. And then something, happened as she gets older. She forgets about him, but a tragedy sets in later in her 20s, and he comes back. But he's the whole time has been battling these demons inside of her head, like anxiety and self-loathing. And he's this jacked, crazy monster now. He's like this psycho monster that they become crime fighters after this.
Absolutely wonderful concept, man. Did you ever have imaginary friends yourself?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Wonderful. Are you okay? So I love this because you call her a muscle babe. Are you into most muscular women?
I mean, I love all women, brother.
All shapes and sizes.
All shapes and sizes. No, not specifically. I just think in comics they're kind of cool. Like Big Barda, I really like Big Barda, and she's like a tall, muscular chick, but she's still feminine. She still has curves to her, and is still powerful. So I kind of wanted to make a female character like that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Great concepts, man. Great. Where do all these ideas come from?
So, I mean, they just manifest. You pick things up from things that you like. Like Crimstone is an homage to Lobo. Like I love Lobo, and he kind of has that sense of humor. Is very toxic. Doesn't give a crap about anything. And I use that to counteract how Taz does care about things. She wishes she could not give a crap about anything. She wishes she could have a bunch of tattoos and could go around, punching people in the face. And her imaginary friend kind of helps her with that and helps her be the person she wants to be and be, the hero that she wants to be. So I pull from, stuff that we love. That's what we do as writers, and morph it into something that's your own, for sure.
Now, you have created an 80s character. You have created a 90s character. What would you do for these eras, for a 2000s character? What would it be?
Man, I'd burn the comic. I don't know. I don't want a 2000s character.
In your head, what would you come up with?
Man. I don't know. I would have to think about that because 2000s doesn't really have something that stands out in pop culture. Maybe there would be, listening to a lot of Pitbull, something like that.
Oh yeah, there were without a doubt a lot of remakes in this past 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
It's pretty much all there was, right?
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And I think that's kind of the issue where the mainstream, even movies, get stuck in the past, and they just remake stuff instead of coming up with new cool ideas. You know.
What do you think that is? You think that everything is invented already, or you think that there's definitely more room for creativity?
I think there's always going to be room for creativity because there's so many people on the planet and so many minds to, even if it's morphing something, you're going to come out with something new, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, definitely, guys, check out the Lost Pages. When is it coming out?
So I think we're going to launch it next month. Because we want to get a lot of pages to show. I just got 2 colored pages in yesterday. I just went to this artist's house, Maria. She lives close to me, so I picked up an inked page from her today that is going to be shown on the campaign page, which looks awesome. I can't wait. Maria's killing it on the Crimstone work. And yeah, and you know, we have a lot done already, but I want to show a bunch. Also, get on the mailing list, which Red Gaze, thank you so much for throwing in the chat there. Sign up for that. It's totally free to sign up. And if you sign up and you back the book, you're going to get a free trading card. This campaign is going to have a trading card for each character if we make it that far with our stretch goals. And then if you guys back week 1, the first week, you're going to get an exclusive trading card that won't be available in trading card form to any other backer after the first week. And that is by a pretty big CG artist that you guys are going to love.
No reveals yet?
Nothing yet, brother. We got to
Right.
plan all that out. Also, yeah.
Can we get a hint at least?
The trading card will be of the silhouette. So that's going to be our first trading card is going to be of this character, but drawn by a big CG name.
Okay, all right.
And look how I love this comment from Edwin Diaz Acevedo. He's saying, no ideas are original. There's nothing new under the sun. It's never new, but how it's done. And I think that's key. That's very important.
Very well said. Very well said. Yeah.
Very well said, my friend. Thank you very much for dropping the links.
Dropping the links in there. There is, I have a feeling that the CG community keeps growing and growing, and it's inevitable that this is going to become kind of mainstream at some point. So we're gonna have even more newcomers as time goes on. What is your biggest advice for new creators and people who are barely starting off in CG?
I would say get in there before you put a pre-launch page up. Hang around the streams. Meet some people, show your face so people remember your name. Send in super chats like we did, to Ethan, to John Malin, to all the streamers, being like, hey, I'm an up and coming, creator. I got this, property, so-and-so comic book. Keep an eye out for it, in this month. That's what we did for Magic Hop. And when I went on to Antonio's show for Akari Press, he's like, yeah, I remember you doing super chats. I remember seeing you when Ethan was streaming in Chicago. And I actually went up to him and gave him a live super chat. I gave him like $5 so in person as he was streaming. So that was pretty funny. He's like, yeah, I remember that. So get your roots into CG and meet people, make friends. So when your campaign does launch, people are familiar with you. They have a sense of who you are and that you're not gonna, turn around and run away with the money. And then when it does come time, you get to that phase where you're fulfilling, you got to fulfill and try your best to fulfill on time. Keep people updated in your updates section. Edwin Diaz Acevedo always says you got to do those updates. And it's true. You got to keep your communication open to your fans. And then fulfill, and then rinse and repeat.
Absolutely, my friend. And along those lines, it's unavoidable. We have to touch upon it. The newest recent controversy in Comicscape Do you think that it is acceptable to hold on and pay your artists until you fulfill a campaign that you haven't fulfilled for over a year?
No, I think, you know, you guys, between artist and writer, creator, or whoever has the money, you guys have to set up that deal beforehand. But, you know, if you're not paying your artists, then you should not have the file. You should not have that art.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know where people are, you know, giving someone a file of art without getting paid for it. That shouldn't happen unless, you know, it's talked about and being like, hey, we're gonna use the money from this to pay you. Some people do it like that. The way I do it is, you know, if someone does a page, they give me the page and then I give them the money. That way, now that page is mine, that pinup's mine, I could do what I want with it, and they're satisfied because the transactions happened. So yeah.
Now, and for all the new people out there who are barely starting on Comicsgate, let me tell you a little story. When we first started in Comicsgate, and we were basically nobodies in the community, we reached out to Phil. We followed him, and he followed us back right away. We reached out to him. We private messaged him to have us on his channel, and without a second thought, without any hesitation, he had us on. He promoted the hell out of our book, and mind you, we had nobody knew us, right? So you're pretty approachable, even though you're kind of big in the community, right? Are you going to stay like that?
Yeah. I'm always doing my streams to promote other, you know, creators in CG, and I'll see. I want to do it more than once a week because there's kind of like more time. There's more people at home. I'd have more viewers, and I want to do a stream with my buddies too, like Ace and Sim and Sweens and stuff like that, Joe Ball. So we could kind of, you know, introduce some of the artists that don't have time to stream like we do to the audience and to our fan base. So definitely be on the lookout for that, and look up ZAID Comics on YouTube. Go sub there because we do streams all the time.
Yes, absolutely. All right, this has been a blast, my friend. Let's do this any other time. You're more than welcome to come to our channel whenever you want. Sweet. This is an open door policy here, and you just let us know. Good luck with your upcoming projects. They look amazing, and congratulations with the fulfillment of Magic Cup. Everybody said so many great things about it.
Thank you so much.
So yeah, definitely congrats, man. And thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, John.
Yeah, Comicsgate and your Phil, follow him. Where can people find you on Twitter?
So they could find me where it says right down here at Phil Pops, or at ZAID Comics. I'd say sub to both because we, you know, I post a lot of art on my accounts, and you know, you could keep up to date with the ZAID Comics and stuff, and then the YouTube channel as well. And get on that mailing list. And you know, there's the links in the chat there. If you guys need another link, you can go to zaidcomics.com. You can get on the Lost Pages mailing list as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing. I wanted to make a little bit of an announcement before we finish. I want to let everybody know that this Friday is going to be the first episode of CG en Español, which means in Spanish. So yeah, we're going to be sharing the link to the channel where we have been creating a new channel. It's going to be content in Spanish. So basically everybody who doesn't speak English can...
And everybody who speaks English too, you can just get your Google Translate and comment that, you know, get a hype.
If you want to say Rico Papi, you can do so, okay? We won't bully you. But yeah, we want to let everybody know who speaks Spanish what's happening in Comicsgate, because we love Comicsgate and we want to share it. We don't want them to just don't know what the hell is going on. They will just... they would just stop reading comics with the fall of Marvel and DC, and no, we have to bring them here.
Yep.
So
yeah, just reaching a broader audience and just getting out there to everybody. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for that. Hey, we might invite you someday. We might practice some of that Spanish that you got in you.
Yeah.
You say guacamole, man. That's pretty close. So help to say comics, help to Phil, help to Comics.
Help to the chat. Thank you for coming today.
Absolutely. Help to Apollo and to his Greek mythology. Thank you for coming again, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
We'll catch you next time. All right.
Yep.
Bye bye.